I have felt sort of publicly bullied a little bit just by, when I read things that clearly aren't true, or that, whichever way someone looks at it, it's a negative side.
As the younger sister to the future Queen of England, Pippa Middleton has lived in the spotlight for years, but nothing compares to the storm brewing now. Pippa just dropped a quiet bombshell. Her marriage may be hanging by a thread. And no, this isn't just another lover's quarrel. After years of presenting the perfect image, cracks are finally showing. She's hinted that she and her husband might be calling it quits for good. So, what pushed the once perfect couple to the edge? And what's really unraveling behind closed doors? Buckle up, because the truth is messier than you think. Trouble in paradise? If there's one thing royal-adjacent relationships have taught us, it's this: not all that glitters is gold. And right now, the shine is dimming fast for Pippa Middleton. Once the dazzling younger sister of the future queen, she seemed to have it all: beauty, charm, status, wealth, and the love of a man who appeared perfect on paper. But behind the picture-perfect smiles and glossy tabloids, something darker was brewing. Now, whispers have turned into headlines. Pippa and James Matthews are reportedly heading for divorce, and not the kind handled quietly behind palace gates. This one is messy, emotional, and painful. Those close to her say she's shattered. After nearly a decade of building a life with the man she once believed was her forever, Pippa is still struggling to process what comes next. Because what happens next when a relationship that has defined your adult life comes crashing down? How do you pick up the pieces and start over? But Pippa is not the only one shattered. Those close to James say that he's also shattered, but the divorce seems like the last resort, especially given the weight of what Pippa has done. So what exactly did Pippa do? Keep watching to find out. To understand the fallout, we need to rewind to how it all began and why the cracks, so invisible at first, eventually became too impossible to ignore. The world met Pippa in 2011, when she stunned as the maid of honor at her sister Kate's royal wedding. Almost instantly, she became a global fascination, dubbed her royal hotness by tabloids, chased by paparazzi, and thrown into the same goldfish bowl Kate had already been swimming in. But love came a little later. In 2012, she was spotted dining with James Matthews, an Eton-educated hedge fund millionaire with royal ties of his own. At the time, their connection was more friendly than romantic. Pippa was dating banker Nico Jackson, and James was simply someone in her world. But even then, he stood out to the public. The public viewed James as someone who was solid and composed. By 2014, their bond had deepened. The two joined Pippa's brother for the Race Across America, a grueling 3,000-mile charity bike ride that would test even the closest of families. The same year, James popped up again, vacationing with the Middletons in St. Bart's. While she was still publicly with Jackson, the writing was already on the wall. James was becoming more than a friend. Fast forward to 2015. The two were seen competing together in the Otillo swim run in Sweden, raising funds for the Michael Matthews Foundation, created in honor of James's younger brother who tragically died descending Mount Everest. Their shared commitment to causes, adventure, and family painted a picture of growing intimacy. By that winter, the signs were undeniable. James was not only attending charity events with the Middletons, he was celebrating the holidays with them, and when photos surfaced of a cozy night out in early 2016, the confirmation followed. They were officially together. What came next was pure romance. That July, James proposed during a getaway to the Lake District, presenting Pippa with a breathtaking Asher-cut diamond ring valued at over £200,000. The couple beamed with joy, and shortly after, Kensington Palace released a congratulatory statement, and Pippa's father praised them as a wonderful couple. It should have been smooth sailing from there. But Pippa herself admitted the fairy tale came with thorns. In a rare 2016 interview, she opened up about the challenges of life in the public eye, calling it difficult and emotionally draining, especially for James, who was still adjusting to the spotlight. Still, in May 2017, they said "I do" in a stunning countryside wedding at St. Mark's Church in Englefield. It was intimate, elegant, and full of royals. Prince George and Princess Charlotte had special roles, while Princess George served as a page boy, while Princess Charlotte was a bridesmaid. Kate, despite the media frenzy, helped keep the day centered around her sister. Pippa wore a bespoke Giles Deacon gown, and James beamed ear to ear beside her. From the outside, everything looked perfect. In 2018, they welcomed their first child, Arthur Michael William, a name honoring both sides of the family. Then came Grace in 2021 and Rose in 2022. 3 beautiful children, 3 chapters in what should have been a lasting love story. But behind closed doors, a different story was unfolding. Those particularly close to the couple noticed a shift. James, consumed with his hedge fund and the legacy of his late brother's foundation, began to withdraw. His presence grew less consistent, and Pippa, once vibrant in the public eye, began to disappear from it altogether. Sources say their dreams of a low-key life slowly slipped away. Between the constant media attention, the responsibilities of raising 3 young children, and differing life visions, the couple started drifting in opposite directions. One insider even revealed that Pippa wanted simplicity, a peaceful life, surrounded by friends. But over time, it started to feel more like a gilded cage. And as the years passed, their emotional connection thinned. Public appearances together became rare. Smiles looked forced. And while the couple never confirmed any strain, those watching closely saw the signs. A woman fading from public view, and a man seemingly married to his work. Now, the whispers of divorce aren't just speculation. Those in their inner circle say the separation is all but inevitable. And while neither Pippa nor James has spoken publicly, no longer the society darling or the royal in-law everyone wanted to love, Pippa is navigating the hardest chapter of her life behind a wall of privacy. It's not just the end of a marriage. It's the end of a story that, for years, seemed destined for a happy ending. Pippa once said James made her feel cherished, grounded, and safe. But somewhere along the line, that security shifted. The man she once called her anchor is no longer part of her harbor. So, what happens next? Will Pippa quietly retreat into family life, raising her children away from prying eyes? Or will she emerge stronger, more vocal, more intentional, and no longer defined by the men in her orbit? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The fairy tale didn't break overnight. It cracked slowly, painfully, and in silence. And now, as Pippa steps into this next chapter, she does so not as someone's sister, someone's wife, or someone's headline, but as a woman learning to rebuild. And in the midst of that rebuilding, one thing has remained constant: Pippa's strong bond with her sister, a steady and comforting presence through it all. Pippa's relationship with her sister. Following one of the most daunting and emotional chapters in Pippa Middleton's life, her divorce, there's one person who has quietly but firmly remained by her side: her sister. This time, it is Kate, the Princess of Wales, who is stepping up to be Pippa's anchor through the heartbreak. And while the world often sees them as royals, socialites, or headlines, at the core, they are simply 2 sisters who are deeply connected, fiercely loyal, and emotionally tuned into each other's needs. Their relationship is not built on convenience or appearances. It has been formed through their shared childhood memories, teen adventures, adulthood transitions, and now, motherhood and personal trials. Whether Kate is battling illness or Pippa is picking up the pieces after a life-altering decision, they have never been more than a phone call or a short walk away from each other. In 2024, the world watched with concern when Kate, then 42, announced that she had been diagnosed with cancer. While royal watchers and news outlets speculated, one person remained steady and silent in her support: Pippa. Living just a short distance away from Adelaide Cottage on the Windsor estate, she was not just the sister who checked in. She became a lifeline. A family source explained that Pippa was not only a sister, but also a best friend Kate could confide in. The source added that the 2 were loyal to a fault to one another, and said that loyalty had defined their bond both publicly and privately. Most people first noticed Pippa in 2011, walking into Westminster Abbey in a figure-hugging Alexander McQueen bridesmaid dress, holding the train of her sister's royal wedding gown. That moment sparked a media frenzy and even rumors of a Prince Harry connection. But beneath all the excitement was a woman entirely focused on supporting her sister on the biggest day of her life. And that kind of support did not end with the wedding. As Kate adjusted to life as a future queen, with every step scrutinized and every smile photographed, Pippa remained her calming force. Whether it was helping prepare for global appearances or simply being someone Kate could vent to without judgment, Pippa was always there. Behind the scenes, their sisterhood only grew stronger. They talked late into the night, planned family weekends, and leaned on each other through motherhood and major life changes. No title or tabloid could shake that. While Kate's life unfolded in the public eye, Pippa took a more private path. After marrying hedge fund manager James Matthews, she moved to the Berkshire countryside. The couple raised their 3 children, Arthur, Grace, and Rose, in a peaceful $15 million estate surrounded by trees and fresh air. But Pippa did not disappear. In 2020, she and James bought a 77-acre plot and launched the Bucklebury Gift and Farm Shop, a charming, community-driven venture with a petting zoo, cafe, and cabin accommodations for up to 30 guests. Fondly called Pippa's Playground, the space hosts birthday parties with tractor rides and handmade cakes, a perfect blend of her flair for planning and her love of family. Though she flirted with the limelight, publishing a party planning book and contributing to outlets like Vanity Fair and The Telegraph, Pippa gradually pulled back from the spotlight. The fame that once followed her did not seem to fuel her. Instead, it pushed her to focus more on home, children, and a life she could control. After the royal wedding in 2011, the buzz around Pippa was loud. Penguin reportedly gave her a $400,000 advance for a party planning book called Celebrate. The expectations were huge. People wanted behind-the-scenes stories, royal-adjacent secrets, glitz. What they got instead was a safe, modest guide with lukewarm writing and old-school ideas. Sales were underwhelming, but Pippa did not pretend otherwise. In her foreword, she acknowledged that it was a bit startling to achieve global recognition before the age of 30 on account of your sister, your brother-in-law, and your bottom. She tried a few other things, though, from columns for Waitrose Kitchen and the Sunday Telegraph, and even a short stint as a Vanity Fair contributing editor. At one point, there were whispers of a major NBC media deal following an interview with Matt Lauer, but nothing came of it. By 2015, her writing and media days quietly faded out. But Pippa's real legacy isn't in glossy magazines or camera flashes. It is in her consistency, her quiet, constant presence, and her ability to be what her family needs, whenever they need it. She and Kate have always been this way. Less than 2 years apart in age, they grew up practically joined at the hip. At Marlborough College, they shared a love for sports, especially tennis, hockey, and athletics. Their mother, Carol Middleton, once said that both girls were seriously hard workers and credited them with helping build the family's party business, Party Pieces. Carol said in a 2018 interview that the girls did a lot of modeling for Party Pieces and added that while Catherine was on the cover of one of the catalogs, blowing out candles, Pippa did the blog. As adults, their paths remained close. Both studied in Scotland, Kate at St. Andrews, where she met William, and Pippa at Edinburgh. They even shared a Chelsea flat in their 20s, balancing retail and PR jobs while living a very London social life. Nights out at Mahiki, brunches at Bluebird, and spotting paparazzi with a mix of irritation and indifference. But when Kate got engaged to Prince William, Pippa chose not to compete with the crown. She took a step back. A family friend told the Daily Mail that it was all Kate, Kate, Kate for the moment, and noted that Pippa was her closest ally and genuinely her best friend. Even at the height of royal chaos, such as the rumored tension between Kate and Meghan Markle, Pippa held things together. At Wimbledon in 2019, she was seen sitting beside Meghan, laughing and chatting without a care in the world. In 2022, she arrived at Kate's Christmas Carol concert wearing a matching burgundy outfit, a small, stylish show of support that said more than any headline could. Pippa has always downplayed any talk of a rivalry with her sister. In a 2014 interview with Today, She said she and her sister still did a lot together as a family and explained that having a really close family was the heart for all of them. They could be normal with each other. She stated that their bond was built on girl talk, mutual respect, and just being sisters before anything else. Now, as she navigates a divorce, an intensely personal and painful chapter, she is drawing on the same strength she gave Kate during her cancer battle. It's a quiet symmetry. Two sisters, both weathering storms, both leaning in, and both giving each other what the world often forgets they need: genuine, no-questions-asked love. Kate might be the future queen, but in the eyes of her sister, she is still just Catherine. And Pippa, far from the noise of London or headlines from royal watchers, remains the one constant thread in Kate's life: strong, steady, and always close. But before the spotlight and the sometimes over-the-board headlines, Pippa Middleton was simply Philippa, a young girl born into a simple family. Background on Pippa Middleton. Philippa Charlotte Middleton was born on the 6th of September, 1983, at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading, Berkshire, England. She is the second of 3 children born to Michael Middleton, a former British Airways flight dispatcher born in 1949, and Carol Middleton, born in 1955, who once worked as a flight attendant. Her family background is a fascinating blend of lineage. Her father hails from a wealthy family rooted in Yorkshire with ties to British aristocracy, while her mother's ancestry traces back to labourers and coal miners from County Durham. Philippa was christened at St Andrews Bradfield in Berkshire, where the family lived in the village of Bradfield South End. Philippa has 2 siblings, an elder sister, Catherine, now the Princess of Wales, and a younger brother, James. The Middletons' early family life included a significant move in May 1984, when they relocated to Amman, Jordan, due to Michael Middleton's work with British Airways. However, this stay was temporary, and by September 1986, they had returned to Berkshire. A year later, in 1987, Carol Middleton established Party Pieces, a mail-order company specializing in party supplies, which would later become a vital part of the family business and Philippa's own working life. In 1995, the family made another move, settling in Bucklebury Manor, located in the village of Bucklebury. Philippa's education was marked by prestigious schools. She began at St Andrews School, a private boarding school in Pangbourne, before attending Down House School, a respected girls' day and boarding school in Cold Ash. She later boarded at Marlborough College, where she won a sports and all-rounder scholarship, underscoring her well-rounded talents and interests. Continuing her academic journey, Philippa matriculated at the University of Edinburgh, earning an undergraduate Master of Arts degree in English literature. During her time there, she shared a house with notable aristocratic peers, including Lord Edward Innes Kerr, son of the Duke of Roxburgh, and Earl Percy, heir apparent to the Duke of Northumberland. In a further academic accomplishment, she earned a postgraduate master's degree in physical education, sport, and physical literacy from the University of Wales Trinity St David in 2022. Following graduation, Philippa began her professional career in 2008, initially working at a public relations firm focused on promoting luxury products. She then transitioned into events management with Table Talk, a London-based company organizing corporate events and private parties. That same year, Tatler magazine dubbed her the #1 society singleton, placing her ahead of notable figures like singer-songwriter James Blunt and Princess Eugenie of York. Yet Tatler's depiction was nuanced, describing her as someone who goes to a lot of parties, but mainly as the caterer, hinting at her pragmatic involvement in social circles rather than mere frivolity. Over time, Philippa has often been described as a socialite, frequently covered alongside her elder sister Catherine, with media attention focusing on their social lives and lifestyles. In April 2012, Time magazine recognized her influence by naming her one of the 100 most influential people in the world, a testament to her rising public profile and impact. Despite the glamour, Philippa remained grounded, contributing part-time to her parents' company, Party Pieces, where she edited the web magazine Party Times. Penguin Books took a chance on her with a £400,000 advance for a book on party planning, titled Celebrate, which was published in autumn 2012. However, the book received mixed reactions, with many reviewers critiquing it for its obvious content and failing to meet anticipated sales. By March 2013, Philippa had parted ways with her literary agent, signaling a step back from her initial foray into publishing. Nonetheless, her writing career continued in other directions. Since December 2012, Philippa has contributed articles to The Spectator magazine. She also began a food column in Waitrose Kitchen magazine in spring 2013, broadening her reach. In June 2013, she became a contributing editor for Vanity Fair, penning a series of columns that enhanced her profile as a writer. Additionally, from September 2013, she wrote a fortnightly sports and social column for the Sunday Telegraph, though she discontinued this work in May 2014. In the business realm, Philippa took on the role of sole director and shareholder of PXM Enterprises Limited in May 2013. The company was headquartered at 19 Portland Place in London, but was later closed down in mid-2017. Beyond her professional and social pursuits, Philippa has devoted considerable energy to philanthropy and charitable work. In April 2013, she became an ambassador for the Mary Hare School, a specialist school for deaf children in Berkshire. The following year, in June 2014, she took on an ambassadorial role with the British Heart Foundation, BHF, demonstrating her commitment. Philippa participated in several high-profile fundraising events for the BHF that same month. These included the Race Across America, an intense 3,000-mile cycling race across the United States, and the Bosphorus Cross-Continental Swimming Race, a 6.5-kilometer swim across Istanbul's Strait. To raise more funds, her bicycle was auctioned on eBay. She also attended the BHF's Roll Out the Red Ball event at the Park Lane Hotel in February 2015, where she auctioned one of her L.K. Bennett dresses. In June 2015, she collaborated with British designer Tabitha Webb to create a floral pink dress and a lightweight scarf, with all proceeds donated to the British Heart Foundation. That same month, Philippa took part in the London to Brighton bike ride, another charitable event benefiting the BHF. Her athletic and philanthropic spirit continued in September 2015, when she joined her brother and future husband, James Matthews, in a grueling 47-mile swim-run competition in Sweden. The event raised money for the Michael Matthews Foundation, a charity established in memory of James's brother, who tragically died while descending Mount Everest. Philippa released her second book, Heartfelt, in September 2016, with all proceeds dedicated to supporting the British Heart Foundation. This work reflected not just her passion for writing, but also her commitment to charity and community causes. What do you think about the relationship between Pippa and her older sister Kate? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.